Good morning, welcome back. Morning. Morning. So before we start, maybe is there any questions? It's a time to reflect. Always if you are taking only one-sided communication, that's not good. Now you have at least gone through some of the material, you have heard from lot of us. Is there any thought, lingering thought in your mind which you will like to discuss? There should be some reflection, some thought. Otherwise, if you are just taking in, it will be after 5 days we will forget everything. What is it that you found interesting, most interesting, which you never knew before, right? Obviously, madam's talk many things, none of us knew anything before, but maybe a quick summary, and people who have not talked. Now we have realized I am a friendly person, I am not that some alien that you need to be afraid of me, so you can try to speak up. People who have not spoken. Anything which comes to your mind?
The thing which I like the most is how we recycle the product into the such like yes, in the yesterday classes we saw that how the waste material of steel can be converted into different products. So
Yeah.
So yeah, that is something which is very beneficial.
Okay. There are many examples. Actually, in India, historically, if you have seen have our mothers thrown away anything in our kitchen, everything is recycled and reused, right? So when people in Bengal, they will know. So we also use something called a katha, which is a sari, and the power of the sari being converted, and children use it. So there are so many ways we have been doing. We never called it circular economy, but we have been using. But there are also very interesting studies. I showed you in the first day the fishing net one, which I really like. It's a real problem, right? Fishing net, even in India, there must be a lot of fishing net discarded. People from Odisha, West Bengal, we always see this. But have we done anything like this? No. So there may be some opportunities also for you to think of, that there can be business around that, recycling and making material out of it. But I have seen even in Pune and other places, there are companies, you have seen many of this. So they are converting, I have seen, they collect all the chips packets, and they finally unthread it, take it back,
So
make
one
it to.
company is there in Kolkata itself, Blintix.
Okay.
They collect all, but they are only working in the Newtown and Salt Lake area.
Yeah.
So they are taking the plastic bags, just that they say that don't cut it in a absurd manner, proper manner, and they will be collecting it. They give all the packs to put it in, and they take it, and again they give a bag to refill it.
I will try to find examples. Maybe tomorrow I will show. I'm forgetting the name of the company. So they make lot of handicraft products, purses, many things out of those only chips packets.
Yes.
So this is lot of things are already happening in India. Anything else?
So we also ma'am told about multi-dimensional poverty index. So it was something new concept.
Yes.
Because every time we'll just know poverty, BPL and APL.
Yes.
So this was a completely a new concept, and it's like how the government takes steps in the initial stage, and what are the things we learn from that.
Yes.
It's not only sustainable development goals what we see on the paper, and it's the reality.
It's not just the
something
17 goals, right? There are so many things which go behind it.
Yeah,
That is
so
interesting
it's
for us to
something
know.
else we'll learn, the internal work, how they work,
Yeah.
and all those things we learned. So it's quite interesting for us to have ma'am on the stage, and she presented everything very nicely to have a more idea about the government works.
Yes.
Because sometimes we'll feel, अरे ये तो बस पेपर में है, कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. But really they are putting so much of hard work in that, and they are making us to know.
This also makes us that we should be more responsible. Government is trying whatever they can in their way, right? But if we are not responsible, then many of these things will not be implemented in real practice. Anything else, finally?
सर जैसे मैं डेयरी का स्टूडेंट हूँ, डेयरी टेक्नोलॉजी बीटेक इन तो डेयरी में जो भी वेस्ट वाटर निकलता है तो उसको पहले कहता था कि वो सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट करके डायरेक्ट फीड लिया किसी उस पर निकाल देते। अब उन्होंने क्या किया है कि जैसे सीएनजी गैस में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं, और मेन प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि जो भी चीज़ प्रोसेसिंग होती है तो वे वाटर जो निकलता है उसको डिस्कार्ड करने में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती है। तो आप प्रेजेंट टाइम पे इन्फेंट जो मिल्क पाउडर बनता है उसमें लैक्टोज के सब्स्टिट्यूट के तौर पे वो वाटर रीयूज कर रहे हैं। तो इस तरीके का
अच्छा, इसका कुछ असेसमेंट हुआ है? ओवरऑल कार्बन फुट वाटर कंजम्पशन कितना रिडक्शन और एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट, LCA टाइप का वी विल डिस्कस टुडे, वैसे कुछ एनालिसिस हुआ है?
सर अभी तो इसके बारे में मुझे पूर्ण जानकारी नहीं, लेकिन जितना है
ठीक है, उसका भी पेपर वगैरह है। तो देखो, वन इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जांपल डेयरी का पता है, यूरोप में दूध भी वेस्ट भी बहुत होता है। कोई भी चीज़ उधर खाना सब लोग ले लेते फिर खाते नहीं पीते, दूध भी वैसे वेस्ट होता है। प्लस ऐसे दूध तो फट जाता है, दैट वी ऑल्सो नो। एक कंपनी है जो दूध का इसका प्रोटीन से टेक्सटाइल फाइबर बना रहा है, सिल्क टाइप का मटेरियल बना रहा है, और वो मतलब बेच भी रहा है वैसे, मतलब दूध से टेक्सटाइल बन गया।
जो क्रीम सेपरेटर से स्लज निकलता है तो उसको दोबारा यूज करके वो कैसिनेट्स में यूज करके फिर वो टेक्सटाइल में यूज करते हैं।
अच्छा, ऐसा इंडिया में हो रहा है?
यस सर, वो अमूल डेयरी में, मतलब जो आनंद गुजरात में है,
अच्छा,
वहाँ से वो स्लज लोड होके जाता है सर टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री के लिए।
अच्छा, वेरी गुड। Okay, so we will proceed.
Sir, one request is that, I mean, up till now everything is fine. I mean, what I liked is the open, kind of interactive thing. I was interested, maybe you have it in the next 2 days, something that there is a huge, e-waste generation today with, discarded hardware and other components. Okay, and recycling it is also, I mean, somehow some example of what is being done in UK or, vis-a-vis, there are problems are different. I mean, in India it's different, but anything which related to that.
E-waste, okay. I'll find. I have some things. I have not put it in the slides, but good that you have mentioned it. I'll try to see. Good.
So regarding that also, there is one startup.
Yes.
In Kolkata, there is Huladeck. Huladeck, what they do is they take the e-waste and from the computer parts, I don't know how they extract gold from there.
Even mobile, there are some few
and
micrograms
this is what
of
they
gold.
are doing. So, but it's like not many people know about it. Just because I have delved into this startup system, so I know a little bit about it. But all the others, the problem is about that knowledge, awareness among the people, how it can be done. I mean, we have a box of e-waste in our college, but hardly people come and throw their waste out there.
One more thing is, like we had Flipkart and Amazon actually start off with refurbished mobiles.
Yes.
Okay.
That's there.
But that's there. But it is not, kind of that was the whole point of, but the takers are very few in terms of that. I mean that.
So car app also related to refurbished car.
Yeah,
The car
Spinny.
decors and,
Spinny. Yes. Spinny and all those, they are doing that. They are creating it in the normal, I mean, not near normal condition, and they are selling it.
UK, at last I can say for e-waste, every household electronic gadget which is not working, in the local area there will be a place where you can go and put it. Normally there are public libraries. So public libraries we can go and dispose there. From there they have a full logistic system to take it back to the places. If there are heavy items, then we have to actually take it to a far off place and dispose. So what happens in that case, nobody wants to also do it. So they sell it off and give it to neighbors or whoever wants. So there is an informal economy which happens. Nobody wants to, because throwing off means if we by chance put it in the bin, we will be fined, right? And so one thing is we have to put it in the, either it's a small item like a mixture or something, then we give it to the library, they take it. If the large items, then we try to find out if somebody is willing. There are people who can, like in India also, there are people who can repair a lot of things, as I told you. Even if it's not working, somebody will take. You can put it on Facebook page, somebody will come repair and use it. Right? There are a lot of poor people, and there are a lot of people who don't want to buy new things, which is there. Unlike in India, a lot of people, there people use a lot of reuse things because they are not afraid of, there is no status consciousness that I have to buy new things. So people keep on using old things also. That
But
is
there
something.
are some risks also, health risks also. Sometimes heavy metals and
Yes.
all those
Yes.
are there. And yes, but this is something that is really interesting. How
Yeah.
you are.
Sure.
That's what.
Okay, very good. So I will show you. We have been discussing lot of these are again examples from. Can we see the slides, please?
Sir, I have a query.
There is a
Just
lag.
like we discussed that ki Amazon has takes initiative where they instead of plastic they provide that paper bag.
Yes.
So uh, I ordered a T-shirt, okay, few day ago, and in that order I got the T-shirt in the
Paper bag.
that paper bag. But inside that paper bag, I even got that plastic, which is covered by the this T-shirt.
We
So
will
what's the
actually show the example. Paper bag, if you do one-to-one comparison, actually the carbon footprint of the paper bag is worse. If we say that it's a virgin paper is actually from the tree, if it's a recycled paper, then it's same. Cloth is much better because we can use it
Yeah.
so many times. No, after 50, 60, 70 times, it will be similar, so cost-wise and both carbon footprint-wise, it is better. But paper bag, by default, we cannot say it is better from the carbon. And on top of it, again, if they are using plastic, then
And
what is
instead
the
of
point?
plastic, we can also use that kind of plastic, which is made up of the corn starch.
Ah,
That is also good.
okay. Yeah, the bio-based polymers. Yes. So these are some examples. You will see. I have not studied so much of latest the Indian companies. I show you some examples. These are Danish companies, well known, but you will see the details of how this is many years. So this is already like 2012 or 13. They were reporting in their annual report itself the sustainability related measures, and these are, so there were no regulations. They are not supposed to mandatorily do it, but they are still doing. So resource consumption is easy, but even you will see dismissals due to unethical behavior. A number of in Ask Us is there, kind of mental health helpline, injuries, health and safety. Then suppliers in high risk countries, they have classified high risk, medium risk countries, how many people sign the contract in crude form, but still they were reporting lot of things, right? And this is a country will know that ethics is very high. One example I can give, very senior medical professors in that country once was jailed, and they were jailed for few months because they had a very big project, and at the end of the project they had dinner in a fancy restaurant, and it was a proper research project, right? Public funded medical research, and the only wrong thing they did was they had dinner at the end of the project in a kind of little bit costly restaurant, and they were jailed. Can you imagine? That is the level of ethics in that country. That's why in this, so there are still dismissals happening due to unethical behavior, which we will be completely under the radar in our situation. That will not even be considered unethical. But in some small thing you do, if you even raise your voice against co-employees, they might be show-caused. That is the level of ethics they have, and they report all of these also. Grundfos is another. You will see they are a little bit more manufacturing. They are they are a pump company, so they have a little bit more. So they will, you will see again how many high efficiency circulator pumps are used, energy consumption, water usage fine, employee development dialogues happened, compliance workshops taken. There are some things which they are reporting. These are all mandatory disclosures. Then I also, this Novo Nordisk, as you know, this is a large company which makes all the insulin products. They are very well known. Now what they did, our students had done a project that time. So they had identified environmental, ethical and social sustainability risk in the supply chain. So they have created their own method to understand the risks of sustainability, and then they screened the suppliers based on that and create a risk map and everything. And then the ones which are high risk, they actually, as we are developing yesterday, the kind of development work. So high risk doesn't mean that we have to discard them, right? So they are valuable suppliers, but they are in whatever reason, either because of process risks or the location of the country may be problematic. So, they were working very closely with them, partnership capability building among key suppliers, but they did the work internally to find out which are the high risk suppliers. Danfoss again, they had more of a, this was conflict minerals. Do you know what is conflict minerals? So, all the minerals which are mined in conflict prone areas, right. So, the biggest example is obviously now what is the material which goes in the battery, cobalt, right. So, all the battery, most of the material, cobalt, gallium, etc., all of these are mostly mined in Congo, and Congo is highly, it is not even a country, it is run by militant groups, and they control all the mines, and children as young as 5, 6, 7-year-old are working in those mines. Now, none of these are approved even proper mines, they just kind of dig and they find cobalt and those kind of material. And we are saying so much about electric vehicles, but 80 to 90% of that cobalt which goes in the batteries is coming from these mines. So, then who is responsible? We are saying everything is sustainable, maybe on the environmental side it will be better, but what about this social sides, and they are almost put at gunpoint to really mine, right. So, then and this is not just one, there are many such. So, they ask suppliers to specify, if you ask most of the car companies, they do not know from where this cobalt or other material which is coming, right. So, they still do not have, many of them do not have traceability. So, by that time they 2015 they had responded and they identified several hundred small smelter plants used in processing minerals which arrive from these conflict areas. They create a risk assessment only for those conflicts. But now there is a lot of work which is going on. So, there is a battery alliance, in automotive battery alliance. So, all these companies now got together that they cannot solve this problem on their own. So, Volvo and others, and they have now tried to have as much of traceability of where all the metal is coming from. And the car has so many different metals, and battery is obviously the big example. So, they are trying to have some traceability using blockchain, but this is still very difficult. If somebody wants to tamper and they do not give you the right data, then there is no point, right. But there is some initiative going on there. Now, what I want you to do is, we will not have a lot of time, but maybe you know, try to find out one company or in India which is doing well and identifying some sustainability related metrics they are reporting, and discuss if anything do you think is missing. Let us spend some time. If we just rush through, then it will be fine. Even if you are not able to complete whatever I have, I can cover up in the next session. Try to see, compared to what these Danish companies are doing, this is just an example, what is the level of reporting we are doing here, right? It is still not fully mandatory, and if kind of what is they are doing on the environmental side, what are the reporting. I am still sure environmental side they might be reporting much better now, but social side we do not know, right. Social side, even if they are, whether they are collecting any data, injuries and all, they will do that, they have been doing for many years. Safety has always been an issue, but other instances I do not know. So, again work in groups in tables and see, just take, so Madam was mentioned, Tata Group obviously we know, if you take one of the Tata companies that should fine. Unilever whether it is greenwashing or no, at least they present a lot of things. Globally, if you see Toyota's sustainability reports, it will be very good, exhaustive, they fully disclose everything what they are doing. Also the initiatives, not just the metrics, as Madam was mentioning, they explain the process, how they do it. They do not have any fear, even if they somebody want to copy, they will not be able to do so easily, right. So, that is why they report everything. You can see some companies in India how they are reporting. Not all the work, but at least the metrics, whatever they are reporting, like the performance, like what I showed before, like these kind of things, environmental, social. Actions taken in response to incidents of corruption. GSK is not Indian. GSK India is fine, but GSK is actually UK, so they will have. Reddy's will be good. Cipla also, Sun Pharma, Torrent. There are many Indian pharma companies. Pharma companies also have a very unique practice, you might know. So most of the hazardous reactions are done in the night.
This cobalt one I was just nowadays in medical devices or in implants,
Ah.
they with accidents and all, they replace the bones in places.
Is implants, yes, I know.
So in but implants there are highly cobalt percentage are being found recently. So and what's the effect in 10-15 years? People try slowly they get neurotoxic effects like this amnesia. They go towards Alzheimer's and they forget things. Some other they cannot do things. So FDA recently in 2023, this 23 December or last year, they issued all the implants has to be biodegradable materials or ceramic materials and also in some Indian companies and research institutes are working on that.
Okay.
It's currently in phase 2 because some we are repurposing the drugs. When it is repurposed, it is already in the market. So we try for the clinical trials phase 2. So and in
But some of the 3D printed implants are titanium.
3D printing is there, but 3D printing is again becomes very costly.
Right now it's
The cost effective is there because healthcare is such a sector. It goes from the per day income of a person which is like 10 to 10 lakhs. So it has to be affordable for all. So we need that kind of thing. And in manufacturing, I was there in manufacturing, that's why I know it better. Nowadays we use polymers for tablets and capsules mainly, which are like biodegradable. We can use it whenever we now in some pharmaceutical companies, the water which we use, we try to recycle it. We filter it in our own filtering center we have. We filter it there, separate it out as RO and everything. Then we use it after going through all water tests as per the criteria of our GMP and GLP.
CGMP
Then we
guidelines.
use all these things. So nowadays pharmaceutical company, but there are certain things which need to be addressed. Like in some medicines, like the injections and all, we cannot reuse it because it's sterile and those parameters are there. So on that parameter, sustainability comes as a challenge also. How we can make it as a sustainable thing or something. So these are the certain things in pharmaceuticals or the healthcare. Medical devices are very common now. Starting from pacemaker, in our homes we have things to diagnose our blood sugar. And nowadays, which we have one new instrument has come up. Maybe it will be launching 2026. Carbon dot censored glucose sensing device. So in that we don't need any needle or anything. Just on non-invasive. It's just on basis of your sweat, and this they'll just collect the information because carbon dot senses deeper into your sense, and on the basis of that, how much, what level of our ions are there in our body, that is also being carried out over there.
Okay, maybe a couple of examples. Did you find any company of interest? The first row, first bench. We can do this in the afternoon after the class also. You can compare. So if some of you work individually, but have you found some companies?
So there's a company known as Reliance Industrial Company Limited, which shows that there's a reduction in 10% reduction in greenhouse emissions over the year of over year to year. There's a reduction of.
Okay, that is one overall GHG emissions. Anything details they are mentioning? This is our Reliance, overall Reliance group.
Yeah.
Anything else? Do they have a separate sustainability report? Reliance. Okay, you did find, Shavani, you find something?
Sir, I have found for ICICI Bank. And seeing the human aspect, what they have done, they have done training programs wherein main parts are automation, data analytics, cloud computing, cybersecurity, data visualization, all those. Again, they have taken initiatives for travel accompaniment, maternity leave, childcare leave, fertility leave, and adoption leave for women employees. And they also are trying for job rotation for 360-degree
Feedback,
yes,
appraisal.
holistic those. And they have funded SHGs also. They have given the number of how many women have been benefited from the first as well as for the last year that they have done. In semi-urban areas, they have made the segregation of urban, semi-urban and all. They have helped underprivileged women. This is about, and they have also shared a success story. This is all in the ESG report that I'm seeing. Meanwhile, Thozil self-help groups of Tamil Nadu. So they have given money for renting as well as for manufacturing fishing nets.
Okay.
So that is one of the things that they have done. And all of the employees are women, no men over there.
This is itself is a good exercise. You can take maybe one industry, few companies. Right now, since this lot of these are in ESG reporting, is there a standard format now in India? Everybody has to follow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then we can even compare. But still, within that, there will be variation. Not everybody is
It
giving in
again,
that.
Continuously being upgraded. Now, as I told you, sir, only few months back they have come out with metrics. Previously, like they have reported, it's all in a paragraph format. But metrics
No numbers,
now are being given, which
yes.
will be applicable for this particular financial year.
Yeah. Then that will be interesting to see if we have these common metrics, how people are performance is varying and so on. You can see.
But again, there is also a loophole. I mean, how they will be giving that metrics? I mean, who will be following which method?
Yes.
Statistical method to apply
Yes,
that?
that's what Madam was saying. No, there is actually the devil lies in the details. How are you actually collecting the data and reporting, and what is the authenticity? Is there any auditing happening? That's why the CAs you are mentioning, they also have to audit that.
Yes.
So,
Mostly the human right due diligence is properly missing because those who are employed in the supply chain, we are not taking care of their rights.
yes.
So, and mostly the companies are never mentioned about this in their ESG report.
Yeah.
So, I think this also.
Yeah, this is a big problem.
So, but sir, I think that, see, this, first of all, the awareness was not there. Now the awareness has come in. And there is a learning curve.
Yes, yes.
You will learn, like Madam yesterday was telling about that poverty index, we had only one dimension. But slowly they have developed. So
It will come.
So, think as long as we are aware and people realize the importance, that will,
Yes, but then the one thing, they have to have right kind of people who can do this work. This is highly technical work, right? So people, that's why sustainability professionals are needed.
Yes.
Who can do this and collect this data, do this analysis, do it reporting, then plan improve. It is not just reporting. They have to plan improvement actions and show this, right? So there have to be people. It should not, and preferably it should be there in every function.
No,
in production also there are people focusing on sustainability.
So actually, as I was telling you, in as part of the CSR activity, what companies used to do was, I was talking about this e-waste. Lot of those, hardware computers which were going out of, 386, 486, they used to send it to schools or like that.
Yes.
Okay. So this was, as you said, it was more ad hoc. But now, since you have some templates and a good leader, again, will actually, ensure that that is, practiced through,
In a
keeping
proper
through
way, there is a documentation, and there is a when
documentation
the people
team,
have
like you
received
said.
it, and
So you need
most
a lot
needy
of
places it will go, and so on.
because the problem what we saw is, here is that policies are very good, and but it is actually the implementation where, it is something of a thing.
About the
But
effectiveness of the proper policies. Even they are taking major initiative, but what is the outcome of that
Yes.
initiative? They never mentioned about that. So it will enhance the transparency if they mention the effectiveness.
Yes, that I always say. There are many companies who also doing this work. Even if they are giving money as part of CSR, they should have a proper impact assessment exercise. But nobody does. Even if I was mentioning this company IQ, they do a lot of work. They are also struggling to do because they don't have people to do this proper impact assessment. That's why they sometimes come to us. They are reporting very basic descriptive statistics. These many people, they have a nice chart to show, but that is not impact assessment. You have to do before what was there, after what you have done. Is there a significant difference? Whatever, even if it's health related, something has some indicators have improved, or that they have to show. Controlling for so many other factors, right? So
sir, I think DP, Department of Personal Enterprise, has mandated all the Maharatna, Navratna, Mriratna PSUs to actually publish these ESG and sustainability reports. And since I have worked in CSR division of another Maharatna PSUs named as REC Limited, so there in each financial year a detailed impact assessment report need to be published and should be approved by the board of the directors.
okay.
So that's a mandate that they are given, and in that report they are working on basically on the basis of five. The Likert scale is 5, 1 to 5, and they need to specify that which sustainability development goal each project has contributed in. So that's a practice now being adopted in all the public sector units currently, and they publish the impact assessment report on their website also.
No, but then we will need to see the method. I mean, Likert scale is again subjective, right?
Yes, sir.
How will then, if it's a, we has to have some quantitative measures, also measure over a period of time, then it's a, but it's a start, right? As we are saying, some start has been made. At least from zero, we are starting reporting something. Fine?
This reporting part, I mean, India, we have always been following that carrot and stick approach. Previously, Dabur, ITC, and Tata used to report, and that used to be known as sustainability report.
Yes,
and
only.
that was voluntary.
Voluntary.
Totally voluntary.
Yes.
In 2013, we had a change in Companies Act. Now they made a mandate that 2% of the
Yes.
average of the last 3 years profits have to be given
Given
in
to
CSR.
CSR, yes.
But there also they found out a loophole. They caught hold of a NGO, they gave the money, and whatever is being done, they never wanted to know also where the money
Right.
is going.
Yes, yes.
So this is what it was like. I have done my duties and
Yes,
done.
yes.
Now government is seeing that that is also not helping. So that's why this ESG and everything has come into place.
Yeah,
So hopefully it might be better in the
yeah,
years
it
to
should
come.
be. Yeah. Made up. Okay.
We were reading BRSR report of Reliance company. So we have seen that in sustainability environmental aspect, they're using seawater like for 40%, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So they are showing good numbers and everything. But when we come to next principle related to cyber security and stuffs, so they are showing that they have 0 cases in BRSR report, and it is one of the mandatory reports now, and everybody are using for disclosures and stuffs. But when we go through the news and everything, they are showing that they have many cases related to cyber security for geo users and everything. So why is this the case that they are showing all this numbers?
This is what the auditors should pick up, right? So if you now already search in news, you will see Reliance's this cybersecurity incidents already reported.
Yes, sir. So first we saw
But
that
they
are
may
0
be
cases.
reporting, they will say that this is inside their company cybersecurity incidents, not what is happening to customers.
Sir, even Deloitte, KPMG, PwC, they also cannot have a hand in this, because when they are asking, I know my friends who are working, they are asking for information and these companies do not furnish with that information. So when they are preparing the reports, how will they furnish the information? They cannot just give any
because
arbitrary
they
numbers.
don't have access to their system also. Cyber
Exactly,
security is
sir.
very difficult.
Exactly, everything.
In a
I mean,
post hoc way, you cannot find out what happened someday in some year, what there's some incident, unless they actually open up their system and show, which nobody will do.
But utilization certificates are collected in case of PSUs to understand that what is the and then only the money is released for further disbursement. While in private sector, such policy or things are there, but they do not follow. And there is a big loophole. Most PSUs invest in both basically infrastructure related things, so that it's there, we can find it. But private companies invest more in skill based projects, because so that the money can be rotated.
No, but this utilization, if there is a cyber security incident, ideally that's a good way. One measure is the asset utilized or asset was down, right? So there is an indirect measure. If there is a cyber security incident, something would have stopped, right? The big incidents we all know. So there is a big company, Maersk, in 2017 or 18. For 1 week, their entire global IT system was down. Billions of dollars of global shipping trade was affected by cyber security. They obviously, instead of reporting like that, if at least something has happened, it is for their benefit, they should report that something happened, we took corrective action, and then we will avoid this, because this is finally they are going to affect them. So, okay, we then discuss, the important word here is proactive, right? So there are some things which are government mandated, this is we have to do mandatory, but what are the proactive strategies for across the supply chain if you have to improve sustainability? Clearly, first is goals, educating, I will say not just educating suppliers, but educating internal employees first, then also their extended supply chain. Then designate these members who are in charge, who is going to be actually responsible and accountable, monitoring suppliers, communicating these achievements and feedback. So this may look like simplistic, but even if this process is followed, then companies will surely make some, depending on different whatever KPIs or performance measures they want to achieve. This is our target for greenhouse gas or water consumption or health and safety or other reasons. Whatever things we prioritize, we create the goal over the next few years. This is what we will do internally. This is what we need support from suppliers. Who are the high risk suppliers? How we can support them, educate them, monitor them. There is a team of people who are going to work. Then also communicate, if there are some positive things, then bring back those stakeholders, suppliers, etc., and reward them, feedback, and this continuously goes on, right? This is not a rocket science process, but even such small things we have always discussed in an extended supply chain, working with the suppliers is very important. They will not have that capabilities. If you are a large company, you have that responsibility to support them. Now what is happening, the burden is coming to you and you are continuously passing it on. Imagine a small company, how they will do all of this reporting, collect data, measurement. They have some 5 people, 10 people company, right? So, and that is true globally. Globally, if you see 80 to 90% of manufacturing is SMEs, and even in UK we have a lot of these companies who are really struggling, crying for help. They are supposed to do all of this, part of scope 3. Their big customers are saying they want this, but they have no manpower, no skill to actually even, plus some investment is also needed. Who will do this? In European countries, what happened, at least government sometimes they cannot do everything, but initial phase they give some money. There is a money given to, as I was saying, to some kind of local bodies, and they conduct training and they provide some help. There is a smart, so there is smart manufacturing related some investments government has done, but still internally these things have to happen. Then this is quite a famous paper, it is old, but Pagel and you, so this was quite early days of integrating sustainability across supply chains. So they studied at that time the companies who are doing very well. So the kind of exemplar companies, they found out around 10 companies across industries who have implemented sustainability to a large extent across their supply chain, and they have some good practices. From that they found out these 7 things, and I will show you in the diagram. So, it still requires some innovation capability, right? Some positive orientation from the management. First, they also found out that supply chain, our thinking is there are now some new members in the supply chain which we did not consider, like NGOs and different trade bodies. They were not considered as part of supply chain, right? So, they realized these companies are very actively working with these kind of social organizations, collaborating with these non-traditional supply chain members. Supplier continuity, this one I always emphasize. I have been telling you is an important outcome. You always squeeze your suppliers. If they go out of business, who is losing? Not just them, you are also losing. So, you have to make sure that supplier also remains in business and is in a good healthy financial condition. One of the biggest risk is the bankruptcy of your key suppliers. If you squeeze them and they go out of business, it is a big risk. So, some of these companies were actively looking at supplier continuity. So, this was their overall finding. Many of the things were common, but they found some interesting things, right. So, these were like guardrail value, means this is the company will never compromise. These companies already decided that we will never compromise on certain things related to ethics, social, even environmental aspects, even if it kind of has an immediate impact on profitability. Then they said that this reconceptualizing who is in the supply chain and focus on supply based continuity through transparency, traceability and decommoditization. Sometimes we always try to push down the cost and asking for the minimal things. If you think that raw material is very critical for you, sometimes some of these companies were actually paying the suppliers a little bit higher above the market rate, because you want to get that. That may not be, that may be in general it is a commodity, it is a commodity raw material. But you know, in commodities the any kind of metal, it's still a finite resource. You may not have all the supplies all the time. The prices are also fluctuating. So, if you have a good supplier who has been delivering consistently to you, you pay them little bit higher, and because maybe for every company it does not have the same value. For your product, maybe that material is very important. Without that, yes, the product's quality, durability, etc. suffers. And then this simultaneously, that time, first time in the company showed that they can improve all of these dimensions simultaneously, like environmental, social and financial performance need not be, there need not be a trade-off. There are ways we can improve on all of these dimensions. So, you can have a look at this paper. I will see if I can share it with you. This is an old paper, still it's quite good, I think, Journal of Operations Management paper. But as we know, even telling all these good things, there are still challenges, right? So, there are, what is the time? Are we doing well on time?
10:15.
Yeah, so okay, we will do. So, we will do the LCA part later. So, there are still challenges in terms of, we have been discussing, but again a summary of that insufficient dedication. This is still kind of, if it's good to have, if when we have time we will do it, but now it is slowly means getting better. But lack of top management commitment is also there. Not all senior management, if there are senior people, they have in their lifetime they have not done 20-30 years maybe in their career, they have not done, last 10 years they are forced to do. So, it's a difficult thing. Plus they have inadequate expertise, kind of reactive and firefighting. If something goes wrong, then we suddenly wake up, right. So, these challenges will remain. Now, some ways to, and this is also again effectively, rather than sometimes the goals are at senior management and they are not simply fully interested. There are some costs associated, the greenwashing is also happening, and small firms have limited resource and low response rate. So, they cannot do so. Then what is the solution? Something has to still work, somebody has to take the initiative and do this across the supply chain. There are few things, again when you have time you can go through this. In Tata Group generally, Schneider Electric is another global player. So, it's a large electrical as well as there are many other automation types of business. They are one of the leaders in sustainability. You can see and also compare some of the Indian companies. Let us say Bajaj Electricals is nowhere comparable, but similar, right. So, but Schneider is very globally and there is a large. So, Schneider, Siemens, Bosch are similar. You can compare them. Similarly, you can look at Unilever and Tata Group and see what they are doing. So their actions are, you can see the difference. They have already done a lot of work in this area. We will skip this discussion now, but maybe again in the afternoon we can pick this up. The other thing which I wanted to see, as we have been discussing, is this closed loop part of it. This is very difficult to manage. Forward part of the supply chain we still know, we can predict, we can forecast, we have done planning, we are good in sending the product away to the customer. What happens when it returns? Why is it difficult to manage? And that's why there is a lot of research in our field in this. That when the output ends up in a landfill, we know a lot of products are still ending up in a landfill. It's causing a huge waste. We have to avoid it, which companies know. Globally, all companies, whatever product they are making, they know it should not go in landfill. That means they have to do something from the take back side, from the return side. And again, we discussed in retail, so many things are returned, right? What happens to those? Even large companies, global companies are having a lot of problems with this, and they are party to it. It's not that everybody is doing very well and in India or Asia we are not doing well. This H&M group, you know, it's a Swedish very big retailer. So they take back things. So if you have old clothes, you can go to their store and dump. Then someone fine day, people found out even those things which we are returning as customers, they are actually taking to landfill and burning. And they are saying we will do something. In other cases, it is landing up in Africa. Right, again, so what is it, and all the distance, so they are not actually recycling and reusing. So because this is very difficult to manage, but then you should not say, you should be upfront in doing this. One way is to obviously do that at the design stage, which is difficult, but at the designing stage of the product, you said you ensure through the use of material or the process, it can be easily disassembled, it can be reused and recycled. So use biodegradable materials, as you are saying. So there are certain things companies have to take an action at the design and development stage of the product. Then once the return stage comes, there has to be a supply chain which is designed to ensure that recycling. So what is the process we should follow? What is the best way to do it? An economic interest of all parties should be understood. Even in that reverse supply chain, there are multiple people involved. There are so many agencies, so many different stakeholders who are involved. And everybody will try to make their own profit, but this is so uncertain that the challenges in modeling and doing some of these activities here is.
Nowadays, very big market for surplus product.
Yes. Here I show there are two options. Very basically, if you see, let's say a product comes back, we can do some minimal activities at the collection center. We just take the product, right? Then we suddenly we ship it to some remanufacturing or reprocessing facilities, where everything else happens. We are disassembling, sorting, cleaning, inspecting, then seeing what can be recycled. We have some recovered parts, we maybe sell them as spare parts, we reassemble things, other things are coming up, and then we again use it for a refurbished or a remanufactured product. So everything is happening in another center. That is very broadly, this is one option. The other option is you do a lot of activities at the collection center itself, right? And then we are doing the final processing of the final products at the later stage. Which one do you think is beneficial from both environment, cost, time perspective? Can you make a guess? It's not an easy, it has to be fully assessed. But broadly, given these two options, which one do you think is going to be a better option?
Sir, if it is case 2, then time can be, time factor is a huge thing, and if at the collection center only we can get all these things done, then
Yes.
again there won't be another problem of taking it to the
Yes.
factory and doing it.
Yes.
That is what we are doing even in waste, we are segregating it at the
Yeah.
Yes, inception, wherever
Yes.
we are taking it, collecting
Yes. But it is still not for every product, it is done, because this has to be designed. That means this center has to have some capabilities to do it. As you rightly said, that is the biggest factor. Lot of things, if you don't do that work here and take it, it will remain there. By the time it goes already electronics products, the deterioration starts happening, right? If you process it earlier, quickly figure out what to do with it, then things move faster. The less time it's there after being returned, then the value will remain higher. If you do this, your value depreciation is very high, right? So it cannot be recovered. But it's not an easy decision. In supply chain there is a network decision. What is the location, what is the capacity, how much manpower is needed, what processes you can do, also optimizing this process in terms of cycle time. So, a lot of things are needed. And as I discussed, even this activity is highly manual and skill, people have to, and sometimes it can be hazardous. We have to open this up, disassemble, then figure out what to do. Are the people trained to decide whether this can be reused and recycled? What is the guidelines for doing this? People are doing lot of these things ad hoc. Maybe some people are very skilled and trained, they can figure out. That is why this product passport concept is coming up. In Europe is very keen on this, to automate this process. If the history is there, we can scan it, we can find out that this has gone through repair so many times, this has already have so many cycles of run, it has very high temperature fluctuations, then we say that this cannot be directly reused, right. Maybe we can recover the material of it, or if it is in a really good virgin condition, we directly reuse it or recycle. So, that this they want to reduce that decision making part of it, so that we can quickly process it. But the challenge here, which many people are working in supply chain in the reverse logistics side, addressing some of this, and this cannot be going on, right. So, there is uncertainty in timing, and we do not know when things are coming up. So, there is uncertainty in timing and quantity of returns, uncertainty in the quality of the material received. There is a huge variation for return products. Managing this disassembly operation, plus there is a material matching problem. For this product we have got part A, B, C, it needs part D and E which has not come. In a regular forward manufacturing, we know we get all the parts together and produce. Here maybe some parts are in good condition, but is still waiting for other things to make a final assembled product, and highly variable processing. Now, we cannot really estimate. Some things might take longer time, shorter time, depending on the condition of the product which is coming. But there again, I think there is an opportunity to have AI, image based. So, based on image recognition, from picture itself we can find out, right, and we can make some rules to how whether this can be, what is the benefit of actually reusing or recycling or reverse. So, finding out what is the best optimal circular pathway for the product. So, with that, so in this process there are this acquisition management, reverse logistics, remanufacturing, all of this, even sales and marketing, this alternate channel you are mentioning. So, there has to be some consumer awareness also to be built in, so that people use these kind of return products. Before we keep the LCA for the afternoon part, but I think this energy efficiency part is also important. We have been discussing a lot, but how do we find out which are the kind of projects? Again, there are different portfolio of projects companies will do to manage an energy efficiency within their facility, if it is a factory or a warehouse or whatever facility. Broadly, this paper showed, there are two kinds of things, like energy, what is the potential of energy saving doing this? All projects are not high value, they will save only a little bit of money, right, but still it is worth doing, because the complexity is low, it is easy to do. Some people, your maintenance people or your internal team can itself do it, like changing to LEDs, right, it is the most common one. Sometimes in motors, I was giving example, variable frequency, changing the motors to, it may require some cost, but it is a relatively easy task to do, right. Internal expertise is available, project has demonstrated impacts, but low magnitude, and it is a low priority, you can quickly start off. Then there will be such projects where there are large payoffs, but we have existing internal capabilities, it will still require some time, but you still need to create a strategic plan, operational metrics, what is the as is process, what is the current metrics, how much you are saving, and you have to manage this. But most of the large ones will require some kind of subcontracting, working with somebody who has more expertise in that area. Internal expertise will be lacking. So, and you find out what are the contractual conditions, because once you do it, that is why pilot projects are done, right. You do not know fully what kind of benefits you will get. It is difficult to fully come out with a contract that this we want this kind of benefit. The large ones where the benefits are high but still very complex, there is a now what this paper showed, it is better to have projects with performance based contracting. So, you already tell not the work which these companies will do, but first of all maybe they will change entire energy system, moving to completely renewable, or there will be a lot of recycling happening and so on. If it is a big capital expenditure, the contract, whoever the company who is going to do that work, they should be measured on that final outcome, how much we have saved, and at least that part should be variable. There may be a fixed fee associated, but the remaining part can be variable based on the outcome. Otherwise, some things they will say, oh, we have done the work, whether you got the benefit or not. It's not based on the hours of work or effort, but the real outcome. Then only many companies face such problems when they were moving, because it's a big investment. Suppose they are changing the entire energy usage in their company, it's not easy. This is the further things from this paper. Score and green score, are some of you aware of it? You from, yeah, yes. So I will just briefly, will not go to the details of it. SCORE says it is a supply chain operations reference model. So supply chain, we have different processes like planning, sourcing, manufacturing, delivering, return. The SCORE model came up with detailed metrics for each of these processes. Now what green score did, it obviously added the environmental, and then social was added little bit. So some environmental related metrics was added. This was the first thing first time where it was done across the supply chain. So even supply chain processes, when you are planning or sourcing, what is the environmental impact, or some specific actions were scheduling peak production in off energy times and so on, minimizing packaging material, reducing things. These things were not done, right? Even 15 years ago, these were not actively considered, right? 15, 20 years ago, maybe some ad hoc measures were done. So one SCORE is a very commonly used supply chain performance measurement system. When green measures were added, then for every supply chain process some metrics were created, but each company has to decide what level of detail again they will go. So there are, SCORE has multiple levels, level 1, 2, every detail of metrics. And then some specific, like I was showing, for every process done, some key KPIs were identified, but each company has to do this on their own. There are some guidelines about the kind of metrics, but you can choose what specific metrics you want to use for that. And then the papers later on came up to show the performance impact, and they again, all of this finally still depends on supplier partnership, customer relationship, level of information sharing, quality of information sharing. The postponement I was also already discussing, it's a key concept in supply chain, that we kind of delay the differentiation of the product, so we don't keep the final finished good inventory. Lot of these good supply chain practices impact the organization performance and competitive advantage through all of this. So and then this is also related to environmental performance also improves. So this what many research showed, some of the good practices don't go away, so they will still remain. You still have to do this, and companies, this was an assurance for companies that they don't have to really reinvent and do something completely different to improve on sustainability. So to improve sustainability performance, whatever they were doing well, on top of it they add certain things, integrate and embed that, then they will get those kind of performance measures. So with this I think we will stop now. In the afternoon session there is something, we will discuss the case as well as the LCA part. Scope 3 is also important. Maybe I think we should also share these slides, so we can have the discussion. Just share this slide with you, I will put it in the folder, and then we in the afternoon mostly we will look at LCA and the case study. Right?